Our next speaker is going to be Arthur Cheliotes, president of CWA Local 1180, and he'll give a unique perspective on Wall Street.
Well, good morning, everyone. I came here today to rock and roll. And yeah, Wall Street is an important economic engine in this city, state, and nation. But we shouldn't have any illusions that given the numerous moral hazards that exist on Wall Street, it also brought about what is not an economic crisis, it is a greed crisis. It is absolutely a greed crisis.
That we're all responsible for.
I didn't say all.
Every union wants to have their pensions paid for. So let's call it what it is. Everyone's responsible.
It is a greed crisis because the inherent moral hazards that exist in the industry today do not reward investment in the productive economy. They reward speculation, and they reward continued risks for which there are no consequences for those making those risks. And that cannot continue in our society, because what it has resulted in is a broad disparity and a polarization of our society. The top 1% in this nation earn 25% of all the income in this nation. The top 1% in New York State earn 35% of all the income in the state. The top 1% in New York City earned 45% of all the income in this city. That is not a formula that sustains a democracy. That is not a formula that assures for every member of society an opportunity to a decent life. That cannot continue. That concentration of wealth denies access to everyone with respect to access to the media, access to the political process, and it assures for their children a decline in their standard of living. It goes far beyond unions and their pensions. It goes to the basic moral issue of having a decent life in our society. What government provides are the necessities of life. Government assures that the average citizen is protected against the power of the rich and of the rich to exploit them. And government has failed. The crash that happened was one that was caused by greed. By not investing in plants, not investing in infrastructure, not investing in creating jobs, but in speculating on the marginal differences that might occur on a trade in the course of a day, in concealing the actual risk associated with an investment so that they could profit from the transactional fees that are collected. That is not good for our society. That is not good for and has proven not to be good for our economy. And so today, working people are being asked to pay the bill, while those who have stolen from them and whom we have financed to bail out continue to demand that things stay as they are. I have a duty to offer a perspective. I have a duty to allow you to listen to another view if you're willing to stay to listen to it. But I have to tell you where my members are coming from. I have to tell you where working people are coming from. And I have to tell all of you, if you think about it, it would be nice if your kids could get a job working for Goldman or another firm in investment banking. And if they're good, if they do well in school, if they excel, they might get a decent job, but it probably won't be in the financial sector. It'll be somewhere else. And wherever that is, if there is not a strong middle class to sustain them, there was a time when there were a lot of poor doctors and poor lawyers because their clients were poor. This polarization, this broad disparity in income presses that, forces that, and drives down the possibility for us to have a sustained economy. And I welcome dialogue on this issue, because I don't claim to know it all. What I do claim to know is what suffering my members are going through, what suffering I see working people going through. We saw steel workers and auto workers, workers of Enron, lose their pensions. Did that make society better? Did things improve? Or do we continue to see the decline? There is a crisis. We can't ignore it. And we must hold Wall Street accountable. And yes, there are good, decent, and honest people who work on Wall Street, trying to do the right thing. But one can't expect the rest of us who don't live in that stratosphere to accept that things can stay the same unless there is shared prosperity. The demands that are on the table today are not for shared sacrifice. They are for disproportionate sacrifice, while the prosperity has gone to a very few. Things like the stock transfer tax, geared to something like unemployment, to help restore the economy and rebuild the middle class, are what's necessary if we are to sustain a democracy. Clearly, the regulations for financial reform that were passed don't go far enough. I'm sure a lot of you saw the New York Times article on banks regulating derivatives or self-regulating derivatives. It's a very closed little group. It's very dangerous. What that article pointed out was that that sector, the derivative sector, is the most profitable sector in the banking industry. More than credit cards at 18% or anything else. What does that mean going forward if that is not properly regulated? why wouldn't we expect the same crisis? And what have we done to hold those who in fact did lie? Those who did cheat and defraud people? Certainly the Martin Act and its revision is important and something I know that Balcony supports. Those are the kinds of things that we need to be talking about, to bring the bad players to account for what they've done. Because I stand here as a trade unionist, and I know that there are corrupt trade unionists who smear the work that I do every day. But that does not speak about the whole labor movement and the commitment we have to the people that we serve, and the commitment we have beyond that to the entire society. And with that, I will end my remarks, and I welcome any questions. Thank you.